David Watts with another quick Luminar video. This is Luminar version 1.22, the very latest version, still called Neptune. I thought I'd show you a little bit of editing on some Google Pixel 2 files. The Google Pixel 2 has just come out. I'm actually an iPhone user, but I hear the camera's good. I thought it'd be fun. Let's take some of the sample files that Google has published as coming straight from the camera, and let's see what we can do with them. I like to learn more about how to edit files, and it's always fun to see what new cameras can do and so forth. So let's try that. We'll open up the image here real quick and get back to our desktop where I've got some samples. And this one in particular I thought was kind of interesting. So again, hope you enjoy the videos. Hope it's useful to you. If you like these, subscribe. And I think it's kind of a nice way to learn by playing with new camera files and seeing what we can do with them with Luminar here. So, nice picture. I like the framing. I like the lighting. I think it was well done against the brick wall with a young lady here. And what I usually do is if we assume the white balance, the color temperature is reasonably well done, and I think it probably is. I usually start with a little bit of this accent AI filter just to see if that makes some little improvement for us, and I think it probably does. You'd have to be careful with this not to overdo it. I find it doesn't do so good on dark photos. It wants to really brighten them up, and that can add a lot of noise to the picture. But I think this is pretty good. A quick way to see the difference is this on and off right here. Turn the filter on and off. And I think looking at it as it came out of the camera, it might be a little bland, but this adds maybe a little bit of life to the photo. One thing I sometimes find myself doing with images like this, and this is stylistic and your taste may vary, but I think it's sometimes interesting to drop the saturation a bit. And I was playing with this just a bit earlier and started trying something a little creative, and you can tell me what you like or don't like with this, but consider this. Drop that saturation down pretty far. I'm focusing on the skin tones here. Give it a little bit of a desaturated look. But the thing I did like was the lipstick, and let's see what we can do to boost that back up. Now, to do that, I think the best way is to add a new layer. So we'll go up here, add a new adjustment layer. We're looking for the saturation and vibrance filter. Now what we can do is boost that saturation way back up. And now let's visualize the lipstick there, the red of the lipstick. And let's see if we can get kind of aggressive with it like that. Now you'll rightly say, well, you just put saturation back on the whole image. Well, yes, we did. That's why we want to do a little bit of a mask here. And in fact, what we'll do to start, let's just zoom in a bit so we can clearly see the lips. And with the brush tool up here, and we'll set our size down to something more appropriate. We might even bring our opacity up a little bit higher. Okay, now with this, let's just essentially begin painting that saturation back in only on this part of the model, and let's see what happens here. So we'll give, essentially we're restoring just this part to its original condition, if you will. And we'll go a little smaller brush for up here. Essentially we're putting the lipstick back on. And doesn't take a huge amount of skill, but just use the proper brush size and you can navigate that pretty well. You see there is some natural variation here at the front of her lip. That's okay. That's how it was originally. We're just putting it back. Now with that said, we'll return back to sort of full control over the image. And now I kind of like where we're going with this. We can play with the saturation even more if we think we want some more. You'll notice it's only boosting the saturation on the lipstick. We can even bring the vibrance up. That won't do a whole lot in this instance. But it's easy to see if you look back at where we were in the beginning. So here's the picture Google provided for us. probably straight out of the camera. I like it, but I kind of like it more like this. To me, it just has a little better feel, a little desaturated look, but I like the red on the lipstick there. Now, the other thing we can do real quick, and this usually works well for female models, is a little bit of skin smoothing, because that's typically desirable. Pictures of guys, we might want a little rougher or sharper sort of image for the skin tone. But for women, usually this is appreciated. So let's add another layer. Two filters I've relied on that work well, I think achieve most of what you need, is structure and soft focus. So again, let's pull the structure way down, and in the same filter, let's bring the smoothness way down. Now that's sort of contrary, but actually if you play with it, you'll see that bringing this softness way up makes the image more sharp. So we want to go the other way, and you can see it there perhaps. A much softer look on the skin. And you can also add a little bit of soft glow to the image as well. Now, again, remember, we're applying this to the entire image. We probably don't want that, although in this case it might not be bad. But let's do this. Let's brush it in only where we really want it. And that would be right here on her face. And we'll avoid the eyelashes. I like to keep those sharp. We'll kind of respect the hairline there. We'll bring this softening really across all of her skin. Again, avoiding teeth, the mouth, and the other parts we want to be sharp. And I think we'll find, we'll even go a little here on the eyelids. I think we'll see this is a pretty good effect here. Now let's go back. And again, let's see where we started. We started here, and we end up here. And I think you can see the skin tones are softer. It's a bit of a desaturated sort of look. And, again, your judgment may vary, but I like the look of it. So, again, the thing that I continue to learn and be impressed with about Luminar is that in a relatively short time frame, we made a few tweaks here to this base layer, the image, basically desaturated. We brought back some of the color on the lips, and we did a little skin smoothing. And I like the results. So again, hope you enjoy this. I hope it's a fun way to learn, taking various images, again, not my image, just something Google freely provided, and seeing what we can do to make the image a little better. So I hope that's a bit helpful to you, and until next time, I hope you have a good day and fun editing and using Luminar.